the United Kingdom put Kenya on a red list. I don't necessarily have to explain what a red list is, because the word red and list kind of covers everything. And Kenya decided to retaliate by also issuing travel advisories. Now, what is interesting to me here is, a country has the responsibility of taking care of its citizens, right? It means that in this case, there is an external force or an external thing, quote unquote, that seems to be killing or seems to be detrimental to the well-being of the citizenry in that region. And in that region, I mean the entire world and every single country in the world. Now, there are countries that do take it so leisurely because, well, they have different values than others, and there are countries that do take it very seriously. Among the countries that take it very seriously is like almost every country in the world. Now, in this case, we're talking about the United Kingdom and Kenya. Now, these have been allies for a very long time. I mean, they're the people who colonized us. So we've been allies for a very long time. Friends, foes, to friends again. Now, here, though there is much anger from the Kenyan populace that it is wrong for them to do the same, I understand the perspective of the United Kingdom, since they're just protecting their people. But at the same time, there's the aspect of relation between Kenya and UK. Was putting Kenya in the red list the right way to do? Now, I'm not an international studies or a diplomat scholar. I'm just a YouTuber. But in my interactions with people who have been in the same stance, it means there are other lesser things I could take. But then again, COVID is not a lesser threat. It's a very serious threat towards the population of both countries. Now, with regard to Kenya and the fact that we've been friends and so many things that we've done with the United Kingdom, I believe that having a third wave that is extremely active in the population makes us radioactive to the international community. Now, you have to hear me out on this. As much as I'm angry because I'm a Kenyan and I do not travel as much, but I know that if I wanted to, I wouldn't, because, well, there's a third wave in this country. I also do understand that they have to protect their population. It means they don't need another wave in their country. So there's a high chance that I may be infected. But then again, there's another aspect to this, in that there are people who have been vaccinated, right? And there are people who their COVID tests have tested negative. What happens to those people? It feels like some sense of discrimination against them. But this is not on a permanent basis. At least I think so, and I'm hoping so. It may not be on a permanent basis. Once the third wave is under control, and once majority of the population is vaccinated, I'm sure some of these measures will be doubled down. But there are reports of a double mutation somewhere in the United States. So that's a whole other story, because we're dealing with a virus, and a virus is very difficult to eliminate. Now, if you're having a virus that has a double mutation, what happens to the vaccination that has been going on? What happens to wearing of a mask? What happens to social distancing? What happens between relations between one state and the other? I would think that if that is contained, if it is contained, then there's no problem. But if it's not contained, then there has to be a problem, because most countries, including Kenya, will have to clamp down and be like, no, we cannot allow, because it endangers the lives of the Kenyan population. But then again, there's a phrase that we continue saying, that we have been saying over a period of time, that this is Kenya. What is to be the norm isn't the norm, and what isn't the norm is the norm. So that is quote unquote. I mean, you never knows. I would think that in our backlash, or in our reaction towards that piece of news, as I had said earlier, understanding the perspective of the other party, and the perspective of the other party per se. I do not speak for the United Kingdom, foreign something, but I know that from their perspective, they have to protect their people, and because we're in a third wave and we haven't even hit the height of it, means that they have to close down and be like, we do not need interaction between the two. But I hope that this is not on a permanent basis. I hope that this is on a temporary basis. And at the same time, I would encourage that everybody, this is COVID. We don't have a cure for this. We only have a vaccine, and a vaccine that hasn't reached everybody. So it means that there is a high chance of everybody, especially a person like me, of contracting COVID. So therefore, it is your individual responsibility as a citizen and as a Kenyan, and as a human being, to not only protect those around you, but to protect yourself. And if you protect yourself, you're protecting those around you. Because if you have a mask on while interacting with other people, you are protecting yourself. You don't need to be a statistic. You need to be among the warriors who are fighting hard and helping the doctors at our institutions, and helping the government, and helping your family and yourself from this. Because now, if you see how serious other countries have been hit, we haven't gotten to that yet. But I would hate for us to get to that point yet, because life will be extremely difficult, knowing that our facilities are not there yet, are not to their standards yet. And if the standards are higher than our own and they are overwhelmed, imagine when ours are overwhelmed. That's just a question that we all need to grapple with and we all need to understand. So therefore, as we continue in the fight against this, protect yourself and protect those close to you and protect your family.